Hey everybody, Steven here, back with another Nature's Always Right video. Today is going to feature Jesse Frost of Rough Draft Farmstead and the No-Till Market Garden podcast. And this was taken from my trip to Kentucky, where I went to the No-Till Grower Workshop and got to learn from fantastic farmers like Daniel Frith and Jesse Frost and all the other wonderful farmers that came to participate in the workshop. So this video is all about Jesse talking cedars. So he's talking Earthway, Jong, JP1, and Haas cedars, and he's going to go into depth about what he likes about each one, compare and contrast them for you. If you're interested in coming to a No-Till Growers workshop in the future, myself and Jared Smith of Jared's Rural Food will be hosting our own workshop on February 15th, coming up soon here, in another month and a half. And Jesse Frost will be flying out for that as well to be part of that teaching. So we'll be showing you both of our farm setups. My micro backyard farm with 30-inch beds, microgreens, doing Korean natural farming, a lot of my own, doing most of my own nutrient creation back here. So we'll be talking a lot about that sort of stuff. How to start new land, break new land, deal with Bermuda grass. So we're going to be at Jared's farm for this workshop. And so you'll get to see his entire system. He does about 3 acres now on 2 different plots. And he's doing 4-feet beds, hedgerows, lasagna style bed making, a ton of really excellent holistic farming techniques, no-till techniques. So we're going to walk you through our entire systems, how we're doing things. There'll be an hour-long Q&A at the end. We'll of course weave in different business principles, thinking about the profitability of different crops and how to analyze that. So the workshop is really going to have something for everybody in it, whether you're someone who wants to get into farming, someone who's already farming, or you're just a backyard grower who wants to incorporate more no-till techniques to make better soil, have healthier plants that will resist pest and disease better. All of these things benefit from a no-till system. So we really hope to see you guys out there. I'm going to put all the links down in the description to our February 15th workshop, and we hope to see you guys out there. All right, let's get to Jesse's teaching on the cedars. I hope this will be really valuable for you guys.
You should just push this thing around and see what you're missing. It's just incredible. It really is. There's just no cedar like this. These are great. This, I want to get that double disc opener for this just to be able to trial it, but this, because it has a shoe, right? You change that out for a double disc instead, and then you have a small scale seed drill, and that's another thing with the cover crops that I think would be really interesting is a version of this as a seed drill, so that we can get into those cover crops seeding with some sort of hand pushed seeder, and that's what this has potential for. And I'm still not done experimenting with this. This is the tried and true Earthway. I mean, this thing, I don't even know how long we've had it. I did put tape on the back because it wasn't getting the grip in our compost that I needed it to get. It would slip, and it would also collect, really, if the compost was wet, it collected it.
Yeah.
So it would build up, and then it would lodge in the belt here. I don't even know how, it must have caught on the front. So it would catch on the front, it'll lodge in the belt here, and then the belt will pop. So, I don't know, the tape helps. I don't think it's a perfect solution, but I've left it on there because it is kind of effective for keeping that build up, and also just for getting a little bit more traction. This needs tape because it gets almost no traction. That's one thing I will say about the Haas cedar. It just doesn't really get any traction. It's got I think in tilled soil you could probably get the traction because you're actually getting the traction. Oh, there's an orb weaver right there. You're actually getting the traction from the dirt going between the spokes, but not from it touching the actual wheel. So I think that could actually use a little traction.
If you thought the Jang first, would you even bother with the Earthway?
Right now, if I could own, there's a lot of utility for this.
That you can't get out of the Jang.
I mean, it's like $100. It just feels like to me a no-brainer having an Earthway. But no, I mean, if you get all the plates for this that you need, like if you get the specific, so Paper Pot Co. Who we bought this from, they send you with 5 plates. Those 5 plates pretty much do everything I need to on a technical scale. I would never seed carrots with this. I will never seed carrots with this ever again. It's such a waste of time. This is what you seed them with, because the spacing is absolutely perfect every time. There's just no, we get some small carrots, but I mean, we don't get like giant, super thick clusters that we really need to thin. So this, if you get the right rollers, you could use it for everything. And it's just like the Mercedes of cedar. It just feels like I'm a huge fan of the Earthway. We've used the Earthway for years. I switched to this and I was like, oh, what a joke the Earthway is. This is like, I mean, and everybody told me that, but until you see it for yourself and you really like seed carrots with this and you have to thin them and all that stuff, and then you go to this, it's a totally different thing. But that being said, I mean, Daniel was talking about carrots, and I think the only seeder he's ever used, as far as I know, as far as he told me last time, was the Earthway. So yeah, I mean, it's a great tool. It's a great starter tool. This is just the best. So I don't know, and I'm still experimenting with the Haas, so we'll see. I'm happy how it did with that spinach, though. I was impressed that it actually got it in there pretty well.
You can modify the Earthway, put a 3-foot grade stake across the top of the handle. You got a handle that long.
Right.
Bolt it on, and you can walk off to the side of the road.
Yeah, no, you can. But you know, honestly, what it is with this is just the precision.
Right.
This is you can't match the precision of this with the Earthway. There's no modification, I think.
Right.
You can do some things to modify those plates a little bit and maybe clog a few of them purposely, just so you get a little bit less density with things like carrots and radishes and those sorts of things. But I still think that the Jang is just, you can get it exactly what you want. So it's hard to beat. So the question is, could you use this double disc opener to get into ryegrass like a seed drill? I suspect possibly. If you sharpened it, maybe. The thing is with this, though, okay, so this is something we've kind of trialed out a little bit just into some of our other trial patches. The thing is, you just can't get the weight on it. What it would need is that these wooden, they kind of slide even though they're pretty tight in there. It would need something going from here down so that you could really put pressure on it to drill it into anything, because the other thing is, if this isn't rolling, you're not getting that spin. But I will say with the Haas, one cool thing is that when you get to the end of the row, you can use the front wheel to turn around. You can't do that on the Jang or the Earthway. The Earthway is actually, they're both back. So like, if you get to the end of the row, you can't use that to turn around because you're seating. So it's kind of not, so like your other option is like literally physically turn it around, and that gets really annoying. I'll be honest, if you're seating 10 beds of carrots and you're having to stop, you're doing 7 rows in a bed and you're like, okay, back the other way. So yeah, and there's not really, like, you can kind of spin it this way, but then you're still going to have to move it to the next bed, to the next row. So I do like that about the Haas. And in terms of its efficacy and its accuracy, I don't really know yet, but I love that element, because it's the same way with the Jang. Jang is front row, the front wheel is the one that's spinning your seeder. So when you're at the end of the row, you can do it a little bit more easily to balance on your back wheel, but you think it's funny when you're doing, in the spring we have suddenly like 70 something beds open, so or not that many, but like 50 beds that really need to be planted, so that makes a big difference. A seed drill, so you're just creating a small furrow, and then the seeds are dropping down below that, and then it's getting covered by the chain, and it also has this handy, sort of handy, kickstand that also just drags behind, so as you're going, it's also covering it, which there's actually a little bit of a disadvantage to that because you can't see your rows. So, and then they make a marker that you can use too, but anyway, I've still got to trial this thing a little bit. It's kind of price-wise in between the Jang and the Earthway. And yeah, I don't have a lot of, I don't like the hopper as much. It's a little bit harder to deal with, maybe. But there are advantages, though. I love that double disc opener. I think that's got a lot of potential. So where it really has potential is in the bed flip that we're going to do. It'll cut right through the roots that you're leaving in the soil. So we always leave our roots in our soil, and this thing will just slip right over them. Whereas if you're pushing the Jang or you're pushing the Earthway, that shoe will get caught on the roots, and end up pulling the roots out, defeating the whole purpose of leaving them in the soil. So this, or with the Jang with the double disc, I think that's a really cool option. In fact, Osawaga Farm, who I had on the podcast, they talked about using the Jang with the double disc opener that they sell for it, that attachment, and they love that because they can go right through the roots that they leave in the soil. So suddenly that kind of complicated seed bed situation where you've cut all your lettuce out or you've cut all your kale out and you have these like pretty much ready to plant, but you have to deal with these roots with your cedar, that kind of changes it a little bit. As you can see, it just goes right over top and it's fine.